Hey guys, it's Lyra, and today I will be making accessories using polymer clay. I ordered some clay online and it has finally arrived, so this is the first time that I'm seeing the clay that I ordered. I have worked with a bunch of different types of clays when I was in college. I got to use like regular clay and terracotta clay, air dry clay, but I never got to use polymer clay because I never had an oven that I could use. So I never got to use this stuff. I was stuck with using air dry clay when I had to do some prototypes and stuff like that. So this is the first time that I'm going to get to use this, so everything will be new for me. So I ordered a big block of the white clay, sky blue, lime, pink, and the yellow. I'm going to start with putting some wax paper on my table so the clay doesn't stick on the surface that I'm working on. To keep things in place, I'm going to add some tape. Okay, so we're going to start with the white clay. I read that the best way to go about it is to knead the clay first before using it, so I'm kneading the clay right now. Okay, so I tried forming it into a ball, so I'm going to try to flatten this out. I don't have the complete tools for this, so I'm just going to use a glass to flatten this out. So I'm going to put some wax paper on top of the clay first so that it doesn't stick to the glass. It's stuck. Oh no. To stop the clay from sticking to the surface, I tried to peel it off every few times that I rolled the glass over it. So of course my previous attempt was a failure, so I am now mixing some green clay with my white clay. I realized that the colored clay is too tough to knead, so I mix in some white clay to make it easier. After numerous attempts of cutting my clay using random objects, I realized that I really could not do this perfectly. It has been 1 hour and all I have is an avocado green blob of clay. I just couldn't figure it out. I'm going to do my research on how I could shape and cut the clay nicely without a cookie cutter, so I don't know what I'm going to do. Like any sensible person, I went to my laptop to do some research on how I could cut my clay properly, and I saw that the best way to go about it is to use some plastic over the clay, then use the cutter so that it would come off clean. I obviously have not given up, and now I have 2 pairs of mismatched earrings. I'm really hoping to come back strong tomorrow and find a better way to cut bigger pieces of the clay so that I could make bigger earrings. I'm really hoping that I could get this right. So it has been about 2 weeks since I last did something with my polymer clay, and remember that this was my last output, and because it has been 2 weeks, a lot of things have happened and they now look like unacceptable things. So I ended up buying these, according to the picture, they're supposed to be for cutting cute shapes with your vegetables. So I have 3 designs, and I'm also hoping to be able to use the round bottom to make like round cuts. So that's what I'm going to do today. I began kneading my clay and flattening it out so I could use my cutter with some plastic over it. Pretty good. It's pretty good. There are still like ugly edges that I have to fix, but good enough. Apparently the circle end has a better result. The edges are cleaner, surprisingly. So okay, I'm just gonna keep going, and I'm going to try out other techniques that I saw online, I'm gonna try out like other designs that I'm not really gonna need these things. Maybe that would yield better results. So I'm hoping that I could actually bake something today, and I'm just gonna go for it. I remember I was gonna try out something with some old makeup. I'm gonna try to use some of this right here, and I'm hoping that it will make this green a bit darker or like grayish. And I'm also going to try with watercolor. From this color, I added this, and I got this. I think it's quite effective. I only used a little of the powder on this one. For the watercolor though, I used the blue, and I got this. And I used quite a lot. Using watercolor powder isn't really that good to add pigment to your clay, but the makeup really works. So I think with that little experiment, I think I'm going to start making actual things now that I can bake. Because I was too scared to make something complex and it would end up failing, I tried to make something that was a bit easier. So I tried to make this rainbow design that I frequently saw online and something that I always made when I was a kid. I also tried to make this ribbon-looking organic shaped thing that was easy to hide imperfections on. Once I was done with my pieces, I poked some holes on them to put the jump rings on. Okay, so I now have my first few designs that I was able to make. I was so scared to put in too much effort into making designs that had to use a cutter. And then fail at baking it. So instead I chose to just make something first that didn't require too much effort. So I ended up with these. I've already preheated the oven, and that's supposed to be, I'm supposed to preheat it for 15 minutes at 120 degrees Celsius. So my the designs I made are pretty thin, so I think I'm only gonna need 15 minutes for all of these. And I saw online that a way to protect your masterpiece is to put aluminum foil on top of them so that the heat doesn't go directly on the clay. So I think I'm gonna try to do that. This is how I saw them doing it. So it's kind of like, it should be away from the clay. So it's kind of like a little roof above your clay. Okay, so the clay is finally in the oven. Now I just have to wait, and they said on the internet that I have to watch the temperature like a hawk, because if it changes even just a little bit, like if it gets too hot even just a little bit, I have to readjust the temperature. So that's why I am here in the kitchen. So once the 15 minutes were over, I immediately took them out of the oven and let them cool. So the first pieces that I baked, I think are successful because I think they baked really well. They didn't melt, nothing bad happened to them, and they're really firm now. See? So I think I'm ready to make more complicated things. I think I'm ready to try to make a polymer slab and use my cutters to make shapes out of them. But before I molded any more clay, I decided to put some jump rings and the fish hooks on the pieces that I made so that I could see the final output of my designs. So here is what the squiggly design looks like once they're turned into earrings. And this is what the tiny rainbow design looks like. I know that I said I was going to make a slab already, but I was too scared that it would fail, so I tried making this gradient effect first. And when I figured that it was a success, I tried to make the more complicated slab. This tiny slab took me about 45 minutes to an hour to make because I took a lot of time with the kneading and the mixing of the colors. And it also takes a while to make these tiny shapes and intricate details without the proper tools, but I really think it was manageable. I did so much kneading and mixing of clay for this slab that I was so tired when I finished this slab and a second slab that I made that I forgot to film the process of making them into earrings. So I am now on day 3 of this polymer clay project, and happily I am now just going to be filming product shots. So this is going to be just a short session and hopefully everything just turns out smoothly. And here's the final look. And that is it for today's video. I had a lot of problems with this material because I didn't really know how to use it. It was my first time. But after some trial and error, I was able to find my way through it, and I'm happy about the end products. The results are so cute. I would love to make more. I hope you guys liked this. See you again next time. Bye!